Once and for all, I'm going to end double taxation on our overseas citizens.
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
That's a good one.
There's been some debate within your orbit over whether or not to keep or eliminate H1B visas. What's your position on that? Do you want to keep H1Bs or do you want to get rid of them?
There has been a flurry of executive orders since day one of Trump's presidency, and two of the most important topics that affects a large number of people. One is the H1B candidates. What is the expected change on H1B? Has there been an executive order? And if there is going to be, what are the possible outcomes? And what are the things that are immediately required in place for H1Bs? I'm going to discuss that in the second half. But the second big community that's awaiting their fate is the overseas expats. Now, Trump famously announced that he is going to kill the double taxation for Americans abroad. Now, there's a slight difference between double taxation and citizenship-based taxation, but what is the update? What is the change that is expected? And before that change happens, there's certain things that expats should have in place to be prepped, right? So if it's favorable, you still have those options to execute in future. But let's say he faces hurdles. A famous example is the termination or the ban on birthright citizenship for certain people. Obviously, that's not flying anywhere. The courts have struck that down. He may appeal, but eventually it's almost impossible to implement that. So let's say he comes up with something fancy on double taxation, and of course it's going to get challenged. There's a big community of chartered accountants and lawyers who are going to obviously oppose that, because there's a big industry that flourishes on this topic. People have gotten their education, people have started businesses surrounding the CBT matters. They're not going to go out of business. So expats need to prep, and they need to get certain things in order before facing those executive orders, if at all. And while I talk about all these things, this is not immigration or legal advice. This is simply my opinion and analysis on this topic. Now, first, let's discuss the H1B program. Now, Elon Musk is one of the biggest consumers of the H1B staff, so he's going to support it. So he's saying that he likes it. Trump has obviously understood the importance in his first term. He was completely against the H1B program. He said it should be killed, but this term, Elon played a big role in this election. That's where I think they both have to sync up and talk somewhere the same language. So he's showing a lot of leniency towards the H1B program. The thing that both have spoken about is raising the minimum wage to such a high level, higher than the average American worker. So for the employers, they preferred the H1B because H1B were cheaper. They could play around with the rates and they could get double the number of people for the same kind of job. That was the main highlight for employers to hire H1B workers. Now, if you raise their salary, if you raise the bar to a higher amount, then it would no longer provide that incentive for American employers to hire those H1B workers. They might as well hire Americans and get the work done. Has there been an executive order yet? No, not yet. Are there changes expected? Absolutely, there are changes expected. If the pricing goes up, if the salaries jump up suddenly, your existing employers might not want to keep you. They might terminate the contract and then you would be out of employment. And if that happens, obviously the underlying status is terminated. You will be knocked out in no time. A lot of H1B people are waiting in queue for the green card for ages. Some of them still have decades long wait remaining in front of them. And a lot of these people have families and children. Now, those children are US citizens, but these H1B people can be knocked out of the country at any point in time. Now, typically, traditionally or historically, what's lacking is that they don't have any other bases, right? They either stay or directly get shipped back to their home country. They're used to this easy lifestyle, right, of being abroad, and they don't prefer going back to their home country. And that is where you need to have two things. One is a nationality that's going to give you a third option where you can temporarily take your job. Let's say it's an online work from home job. You keep the job, and instead of going back to your home country, which is where you don't want to go, you can simply conveniently move to your third country where you're getting the citizenship now. And there are ways where you can get the citizenship in as early as 3 weeks, right? 3 to 4 weeks, you can actually get a nationality. So you can safeguard your position closer to home in a favorable time zone. So that's one advantage of getting that citizenship quickly. It's a more powerful passport than your home country passport. So you're going to get more visa-free solidity. On top of that, you can stack important residencies on that nationality. So a lot of countries, especially powerful countries in Latin America, don't prefer certain Asian nationalities when it comes to avoiding residencies. But when you have a powerful nationality or stronger nationality than your home country, then they're open to give you residency permits. And in a lot of cases, certain countries, you can directly travel with this powerful nationality and then get the residency permit from inside those Latin American countries. Now, one of the biggest opportunities for H1B people is to immediately get the Mexican residency. So H1Bs have been targeting Canada, and Canada is difficult. Time is gone, time has changed, and you have to not only spend a lot of money, but you have to physically spend your time inside of Canada. But if you are still working in the US and you don't have the time to go to Canada, you can retain your job in the US without going to Canada, but you can trigger the Mexican residency, and that Mexican residency runs in the background. Now, what do you need to get a Mexican residency? Simply show the monthly income. Most of the H1Bs earn more than $4,500 a month. So if they can show that much income, they can qualify for the residency. Once you trigger the Mexican residency, unlike the Canadian PR, this one sits in the background, starts your clock to citizenship. The Mexican passport is far more powerful than the American passport, and I've covered this in a lot of detail. If you've missed that, you can check out this video. This talks why this is so much more powerful than the American passport. So this is the solution for the eventual citizenship that you're targeting, the eventual nationality. But before that, I talked about that all important layer, right, of that citizenship that you can target in 3 to 4 weeks. And one of the biggest investments that you can do for yourself and your family is to get that nationality now, right now. So you don't want to waste too much time. You want to get this nationality right away, so you can then start collecting all these residencies on top of this nationality, which is more powerful than your home country nationality. Now, there are 15 that you can get in total. Now, we have missed all the important nationalities that can be struck right away, instantly. You can return and take a look at this video. This covers all the 15 countries that award citizenships immediately. But if you're looking for the fastest and the cheapest one, then you can look at Vanuatu. So you get this base layer, and then you want to collect all those residency on top of this nationality. So this is an interim option. And then in future, once you get that Mexican nationality, or let's say you're targeting Peru or you're targeting Argentina, whichever that third nationality is, that can be your eventual plan. But that immediate plan is this base nationality. Now let's switch topics and talk about the citizenship-based taxation topic. Now, as I said, there is a difference between double taxation and citizenship-based taxation. There's already a mechanism in place to avoid double taxation. So when Trump says that he's going to remove double taxation, that double taxation already does not exist, right? There's something like foreign income exclusion. So approximately 120K is excluded as foreign income if you don't physically reside in the US. So there is no double taxation to that threshold. Now, this is different from citizenship-based taxation. Citizenship-based taxation means that if you're a citizen of that country, no matter what happens, you're still going to pay taxes to that country. Now, is he going to be able to create an executive order and cancel that? I don't think he has spoken about it. I'm not saying it's a bluff what he threw, but he talked about double taxation. He would have consulted with some tax experts. That's why he used that language. So if he cancels that, that means something different, but he would specifically have to cancel the citizenship-based taxation. I personally don't think that is happening, or that's so easy. because as I said earlier, that whole industry is going to backfire. It's not going to let that happen. It's going to eventually be struck down. It's going to be a huge change for him to implement. So in the interim, what's very important is to get a solid bulletproof BRICS residency. And in that, the most popular one amongst Americans is South Africa. And this is applicable not just to Americans, it's Canadians, Britishers, Australians, all are targeting the South African permanent residency for two important reasons. It's dateless and it's the most flexible. So you don't have to have any physical presence to maintain this permanent residency. It is for life. And it's a very minor donation that gets you this permanent residency. You're looking at 6,800 approximate numbers, right? So 6,800 USD gets you a lifelong permanent residency, and you can convert this into citizenship after 5 years. Now, if you have a dual citizenship, you don't want a second passport, but if you don't have a dual citizenship, in addition to this residency, you want the base layer. You want to have a passport. And as I said earlier, there are 15 countries that give you an immediate dual citizenship, but the most bang for the buck, in my opinion, is the Vanuatu citizenship. I know it does not have all the bells and whistles in terms of the visa-free access, but it gives you other advantages that you want. It has one of the best due diligence processes in the world. And if you're wondering how come Vanuatu has the best due diligence which works in your favor, then you can watch this video. This talks about the whole process. It is the fastest processing times. In 3 weeks to 4 weeks, you can actually realistically expect this passport. It can take up to 90 days, but it is the fastest CBI to obtain. So you're going to have an immediate nationality in 3 or 4 weeks. You're going to be a dual citizen if you apply for this one. And then on top of that, once you start the South Africa, at some point you're going to gain that solidity, right? At this point, you're not looking for the most powerful passport. You're looking for the basic necessities, which is an alternate citizenship, which is a dual citizenship, real fast, real quick. And you're looking for a bulletproof, solid, flexible, dateless, lifelong, permanent residency. Now, the reason why I think South Africa is more important than something like a Panama is because for Panama, the citizenship, you need more physical commitment. South Africa is one of the best options to strike because it's not closer to home. It's away from home and it falls in the BRICS category. So you have perfect diversification. You have the Western option and then you have a BRICS option. So you can pick and choose, switch sides as it favors you. If it is trouble towards the West, you can always have protections on the other side. And we specialize in all three options. So at any point in time, if you're looking to get or start your citizenship or the Mexican program, now the Mexican program can be obtained in a single day. And if you want to learn how we can obtain this card in a single day, hop out of this video. This talks about the entire procedure in detail. And then of course we specialize. South Africa is one of our specialties. The other specialty, we can get you started with the South Africa option. And if you're looking to get the Vanuatu at the cheapest legal possible price, we directly work with the processor for the government. You can click the link, book a call. We can discuss 1, 2, or all 3 options in your case and get you immediately started with the option of your choice. Now, if you aren't subscribed to this channel, make sure to turn on the bell notification and subscribe so you don't miss out on any important updates. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.